Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Victor double-cross Phyllis, put a Newman in charge of Jabot. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, will double-cross Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, and put a surprise Newman in charge of Jabot. Who does Victor have in mind for that spot? Want more of The Young and the Restless? Get updates on the latest news about The Young and the Restless, straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising, as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? Jack Abbott is Victor Newman's target. Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, has been in Victor's sight for a while now. Victor is being very overdramatic, but he claims that Jack almost killed Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. It is clear that Victor is going to take Jack down, and the Abbotts are joining forces to try and protect their father's legacy. Victor now has this AI program that Kane promised could take out all of the heads of Genoa City companies and plans to use it on Jabot to oust Jake as CEO. Victor has promised to allow Phyllis to take over Jabot. Phyllis should have known better than to believe anything Victor promised her. However, Victor will double-cross her and put one of the Newmans in control over Jabot. Jack, please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Abbott is Victor Newman's target. The war between the titans of Genoa City is far from over, and this time, the stakes are higher than ever. For decades, Victor Newman and Jack Abbott have been locked in a battle of wills, each man determined to prove his dominance not only in business but in life. Yet just when fans thought there might be peace between Newman Enterprises and Jabot, the ruthless mustache is once again sharpening his knives. Jack Abbott has found himself squarely in Victor's crosshairs, and the fallout could destroy everything Jack has worked so hard to rebuild. It all started subtly, as most of Victor's schemes do. Whispers around Newman Enterprises suggested that Victor had a new plan in motion, one that involved cleaning house and eliminating potential threats to his family's empire. But those who know Victor best understand that when he says family, he's talking about much more than blood. It's about control, reputation, and legacy. And to Victor, Jack Abbott has always been the greatest threat to those things. Jack, meanwhile, has been trying to live a quieter life. After years of feuding, heartbreak, addiction, and loss, he's found some semblance of balance with Diane Jenkins by his side and Jabot thriving under his leadership. He's focused on the company's innovation and its next chapter, one that honors John Abbott's memory and moves beyond the endless rivalry with Newman. But peace doesn't sit well with Victor Newman. Not when he believes his rivals have something he wants, or something he can use. Recently, Victor has been poking around Jabot's business dealings, particularly a new cosmetics division Jack has been quietly developing. According to insiders, this new venture could rival Newman Media's recent expansion into the beauty and wellness market, and Victor doesn't like competition, especially not from Jack Abbott. What makes this situation even more dangerous is Victor's growing suspicion that Jack might be collaborating with someone inside Newman Enterprises. The name Kyle Abbott has come up more than once. Jax, please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Son has been on shaky ground with both his father and Victor lately, caught between loyalty and ambition. Victor, ever the master manipulator, could easily exploit Kyle's insecurities and recent frustrations to drive a wedge between father and son. Imagine Victor's satisfaction in using Jack's own flesh and blood against him. It would be the ultimate revenge. Jack has sensed that something's off. His instincts, honed over decades of corporate warfare, are telling him that Victor's silence isn't peace, it's the calm before the storm. Rumors have swirled that Victor might be quietly buying up shares of Jabot through shell corporations, using front companies to disguise his involvement. If true, this could be a devastating blow, allowing Victor to infiltrate Jack's company from within and take control piece by piece. Victor's methods are legendary: psychological warfare, manipulation, and financial sabotage. He doesn't need to launch a public attack. He simply plants seeds of doubt, then watches as his target unravels from the inside out. For Jack, the warning signs are already there. Diane has been urging him to stay vigilant, worried that his old enemy is about to strike again. Even Nikki, who has been trying to keep Victor's darker instincts in check, might not be able to stop him this time. After all, Victor feels he's been humiliated lately, by his own family, by business setbacks, and by people he once considered beneath him. In Victor's mind, reclaiming his power starts with eliminating any perceived weakness, and Jack represents both a reminder of his failures and a challenge to his authority. Meanwhile, Jack is dealing with pressure on multiple fronts. He's trying to protect Jabot's future, manage Kyle's growing restlessness, and maintain his relationship with Diane. But the more he focuses on keeping his family together, the more Victor seems to tighten the noose. Newman insiders say Victor has even been digging into Diane's past, looking for anything he can use to discredit her or destabilize Jack's personal life. It's a tactic that's worked before. After all, Victor has never hesitated to attack the people his enemies love most. The question now is, how far will Victor go this time? Fans are speculating. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. That this latest feud could lead to a full-blown corporate war between Newman Enterprises and Jabot. But unlike past skirmishes, this one might not be confined to boardrooms. There are whispers that Victor could be orchestrating something more sinister, perhaps a setup involving financial crimes, insider leaks, or even framing Jack for wrongdoing. Jack, on the other hand, isn't naive. He's been down this road too many times to underestimate Victor. But he's also tired. Years of fighting have left scars, and he's no longer the impulsive man who once challenged Victor at every turn. This version of Jack Abbott is older, wiser, and more strategic, but also more vulnerable. His empathy, once a strength, could now be his downfall. Phyllis Summers, ever the wild card, has been circling the situation as well. She knows both men better than most and has her own score to settle. Could she end up playing both sides? Or might she step in to help Jack uncover Victor's plot before it's too late? Given Phyllis's complicated history with both Jack and Victor, her involvement could tilt the balance dramatically. The Abbott family is bracing for impact. Ashley, who's been trying to regain stability in her own life after recent emotional upheavals, may be forced to step in and defend Jabot once again. She's made it clear that she won't let Victor destroy what their father built. But with Ashley's mental state still fragile, her decisions could be unpredictable, and Victor knows exactly how to exploit emotional weaknesses. For Victor, this isn't just about business, it's about legacy. He sees Jack as the one man who's ever truly challenged him, the mirror image he can't stand to face. Every time Jack rises, it reminds Victor that he's not invincible, and that's something he can't tolerate. For Jack, Victor's obsession represents everything he despises about power without conscience. He's fought for decades to lead with integrity, while Victor has thrived on intimidation. The clash between these philosophies has defined both men's lives, and now, it seems destined to explode once again. What makes this showdown even more compelling is how personal it's become. Victor's recent moves suggest he isn't just after Jack's "please subscribe and like the video before continuing" company, he's after Jack himself. His pride, his peace, his family. If Victor succeeds in destabilizing Jabot or fracturing the Abbotts, it won't just be another victory, it will be a declaration that no one defies Victor Newman and survives unscathed. Yet in the world of the young and the restless, tables can turn quickly. Jack may be the target, but he's also one of the most cunning players in Genoa City. Sources close to Jabot hint that Jack might already be countering Victor's moves, gathering intel, and preparing a counterstrike. He's learned from his past mistakes, and if Victor underestimates him again, he might find that the hunter has become the hunted. This rivalry has always been about more than money or business. It's about two men who see reflections of themselves in each other, both brilliant, both ruthless when pushed, and both haunted by the ghosts of their pasts. Every time they clash, Genoa City trembles, and this latest chapter promises to be one of the most explosive yet. Will Jack lose everything, or will he finally outsmart the man who's been his nemesis for decades? One thing's certain, the Abbott-Newman war is far from over. And as the storm gathers over Genoa City, the battle lines are being drawn once again, with Jack Abbott squarely in Victor Newman's sights. Victor Newman does not like Phyllis Summers. Phyllis wasn't exactly being smart when she decided to trust Victor. Phyllis knows that Victor probably only dislikes two more people more than he dislikes her, and that would be Jack and Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Phyllis should have never tried to make a deal with Victor, but she will realize this a little too late. What is this? Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Victor's other issue will be to find a Newman who doesn't have a problem with him going after Jack. Nikki, as well as Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, would never take over Jabot. Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, would have an issue as well. This pretty much leaves Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, who may decide to go ahead with opening a new club instead of running Jabot. Victor Newman does not like Phyllis Summers. In the ruthless world of Genoa City power plays, alliances can crumble as quickly as they're formed, and if there's one person you don't want on your bad side, it's Victor Newman. For decades, the mustache has been the unshakable patriarch of Newman Enterprises and the ultimate puppet master behind many of the town's most shocking downfalls. But while Victor has tolerated plenty of schemers, there's one woman he simply can't stand, Phyllis Summers. Their animosity isn't new, it's been simmering for years, flaring up whenever their paths cross. Yet recently, that disdain seems to have reignited with a vengeance. According to sources close to the Young and the Restless, Victor has once again set his sights on Phyllis, and this time, his disgust runs deeper than ever. Phyllis, for her part, doesn't exactly care what Victor thinks of her. She's always been bold, unapologetic, and unafraid to call people out, especially men like Victor who think they can control everyone around them. But what makes this rivalry dangerous is that Victor doesn't just dislike Phyllis, he views her as a threat to everything he's built, including his family's fragile unity. The latest spark came from Phyllis's renewed involvement in Jack Abbott's orbit. Victor's hatred toward Jack is legendary, and in his eyes, Phyllis aligning herself with Jack is nothing short of betrayal. Over the years, Victor has watched her manipulate, seduce, and outsmart some of Genoa City's most powerful figures, and he's never forgiven her for how her chaos spills into his family's lives. When Phyllis faked her death and left chaos in her wake, Victor saw it as yet another example of her recklessness. She's unpredictable, unstable, and, according to him, utterly incapable of change. Victor thrives on control and order. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. While Phyllis lives for danger and defiance. They are oil and water, and every encounter between them leaves scorch marks. Recently, Victor made it clear he doesn't want Phyllis anywhere near his loved ones or his business interests. He's issued quiet warnings to those close to her, subtle reminders that being associated with Phyllis Summers can come with a cost. Victor may not always shout his disdain from the rooftops, but when he moves against someone, the whole town eventually feels it. The tension reached new heights when Phyllis began poking her nose into Newman family matters, under the guise of helping with business ventures. Victor saw right through her charm and cunning, and according to those close to him, he's been laying the groundwork to cut her out of Genoa City's inner circle once and for all. The question is, what's his endgame? Historically, Victor's hatred doesn't burn out, it escalates. His pattern is always the same: identify a threat, dismantle their credibility, and destroy them from the inside out. He's done it to Jack Abbott, Adam Newman, and countless others. Now, Phyllis could be his next target. The real reason Victor can't stand Phyllis goes beyond her schemes. Deep down, she reminds him of himself. Both are fiercely intelligent, dangerously impulsive, and utterly unwilling to admit defeat. They play life like a chess match, always several moves ahead. But while Victor sees himself as a master strategist, he sees Phyllis as a reckless gambler, someone who doesn't deserve the power she wields. What truly drives Victor crazy is how Phyllis always manages to survive. No matter how many times she's fallen, no matter how many enemies she's made, she always comes back stronger. She's like a phoenix rising from her own mistakes, and that resilience threatens Victor's ego. He despises people he can't control, and Phyllis is the embodiment of defiance. Their long history of mutual contempt goes back decades. When Phyllis manipulated Danny Romalotti, tangled with Nick Newman, and later became a thorn in the side of Newman Enterprises, Victor's opinion of her soured permanently. He's seen her destroy lives, including her own, and please subscribe and like the video before continuing. While he's no saint himself, he draws a hard line at anyone who hurts his family. And Phyllis has crossed that line too many times. When Phyllis and Nick's relationship imploded, Victor's disgust was palpable. He never wanted his son tied to her, convinced she'd bring nothing but trouble. In Victor's eyes, Phyllis's influence on Nick led him astray from the Newman legacy, making him question his place in the family business. To Victor, that was unforgivable. More recently, Victor's protective instincts toward his daughter, Victoria, have also been triggered. He's aware that Phyllis has been nosing around in matters involving Newman Media and other ventures connected to Victoria and Nate. Victor has no patience for meddling, and Phyllis's curiosity, especially when mixed with her tendency for manipulation, makes her a dangerous wild card. Phyllis, however, doesn't back down from a fight. She's never been intimidated by Victor or his threats. If anything, she seems to enjoy pushing his buttons. In her mind, Victor is a relic of a bygone era, an overbearing patriarch who thinks everyone should kneel before him. She's made it her mission to prove that she doesn't need Victor Newman's approval or his protection. Their most recent confrontation reportedly took place at the Genoa City Athletic Club, where Phyllis and Victor had a tense exchange about Jabot's upcoming business move. Witnesses said Victor's tone was icy, and Phyllis fired back with a trademark smirk and cutting remark. Those close to both of them said the moment was electric, two titans clashing, neither willing to give an inch. But behind Victor's calm demeanor lies a dangerous intent. He's begun quietly gathering information on Phyllis, digging into her finances, her business ties, and even her connections with Tucker McCall and Jack Abbott. Victor believes that knowledge is power, and when he has enough of it, he'll strike. Meanwhile, Phyllis continues to live her life on her terms. She's trying to mend fences with her children, Daniel and Summer, and reclaim her independence after years of turmoil. But with Victor Newman lurking in the background, peace may be an illusion. He's not one to forget or forgive, and if Phyllis underestimates, please subscribe and like the video before continuing. She could be walking straight into one of his infamous traps. The irony is that Victor's disdain for Phyllis might be masking a reluctant respect. He recognizes her intelligence and resourcefulness, even if he loathes how she uses them. In another life, they might have been allies, two power players who understand the ruthless rules of Genoa City better than anyone else. But in this world, they're destined to remain enemies. As this new feud unfolds, other residents are watching closely. Nikki Newman, who has a complicated history with Phyllis, may find herself caught in the middle. She's wary of Phyllis's manipulative streak but also wary of Victor's tendency to go too far when punishing his enemies. Jack Abbott, meanwhile, will undoubtedly take Phyllis's side, setting up yet another front in his endless war with Victor. If Victor moves against Phyllis, Jack will not stand idly by, and that could reignite the fiery Abbott-Newman rivalry all over again. Even Adam Newman might find himself drawn into the chaos. He understands what it's like to be despised by Victor and manipulated at every turn. If Phyllis plays her cards right, she could even turn Victor's own son into an unlikely ally. Still, Phyllis has always been her own worst enemy. For every bold move she makes, there's a risk of self-destruction. She's addicted to danger, to proving herself, and to defying expectations. Victor knows this, and he's counting on it. He doesn't need to destroy Phyllis outright, he just needs to push her far enough that she destroys herself. Whether she realizes it or not, the game has already begun. As tensions rise, Genoa City is once again becoming a battlefield of egos, secrets, and revenge. Victor Newman may despise Phyllis Summers, but she's not someone who goes down quietly. The collision between them promises to be explosive, a war of words, wits, and willpower that could shake every alliance in town. And as history has shown, when Victor Newman and Phyllis Summers go head-to-head, no one walks away unscathed. Noah Newman may be Victor Newman's only hope. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. It seems that Noah may be the only Newman that Victor might be able to bully into taking over Jabot, since none of the others would consider it. Even Adam is close to Jack and would refuse to take his place. Noah is expected to be back in Genoa City around Christmas. Unfortunately, after his accident, Noah may decide it is time to forget the nightclub scene and come back to the family fold. Noah may then be appointed as the new CEO of Jabot, setting him up to have an issue with Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, and Claire could find herself caught in the middle of her cousin and her ex. Spoilers say that Phyllis will wind up furious in the near future, and unfortunately, it seems that Victor's betrayal is likely to be the reason for this. Noah Newman may be Victor Newman's only hope. Genoa City has seen its fair share of rivalries, betrayals, and shifting loyalties, but no story has captivated fans quite like the saga of Victor Newman and his complicated family. For decades, Victor has ruled Newman Enterprises and his family with an iron fist, determined to keep his dynasty intact no matter the cost. Yet as time has gone on, his empire has begun to fracture from within. His children, Nick, Victoria, and Adam, have all drifted away in their own ways, leaving Victor more isolated than ever. But just when it seems that the great Victor Newman might finally face defeat, an unexpected name has entered the conversation: Noah Newman. Long overshadowed by his famous father, Nick, and powerful grandfather, Victor, Noah has spent years trying to find his place both in business and in life. He's the quiet Newman, the one who avoids the spotlight, choosing creativity over corporate warfare. But now, whispers around Genoa City suggest that Noah could hold the key to saving Victor from his latest crisis, one that could bring down everything he's built. The trouble began when cracks started showing in Newman Enterprises. Victoria's leadership, once seen as unshakable, has been challenged by internal discord and questionable alliances. Nick, weary of the endless family drama, has taken a step back, focusing more on his charity work than the cutthroat world of business. Adam, meanwhile, continues to walk the line between redemption and rebellion, leaving Victor unsure of where his loyalties truly lie. For the first time in years, Victor finds himself surrounded by uncertainty, and that's something he cannot stand. Then there's Noah, the grandson Victor has often overlooked. Once an idealistic young man with artistic ambitions, Noah has matured into someone with quiet intelligence and emotional depth. His ventures abroad, particularly his work in the London art and club scene, taught him independence and strategic thinking, qualities Victor has always admired, even if he's never said it aloud. But fate seems to have pulled Noah back to Genoa City at a time when his family needs him most. After his recent accident, one that left fans stunned and speculating, many believe Noah might fade into the background again. Yet rumors now suggest that Victor sees something different in him, something that could restore the Newman name to glory. Behind closed doors, Victor is reportedly re-evaluating his succession plans. He's grown weary of the constant infighting among his children. Victoria and Adam's rivalry has turned toxic, and Nick's moral compass often clashes with Victor's methods. Noah, on the other hand, represents something purer, a fresh start, a clean slate untainted by decades of Newman chaos. What makes this potential alliance so intriguing is how unlikely it is. Victor and Noah have never been close. While Victor loves his family fiercely, his relationships with his grandchildren have often been distant, defined more by business expectations than emotional bonds. But recent events may have softened him. The legendary patriarch is getting older, and for perhaps the first time, he's confronting his own legacy with a sense of vulnerability. He doesn't just want Newman Enterprises to survive, he wants someone trustworthy to carry its torch when he no longer can. Enter Noah, who could be that bridge between old and new, the perfect balance of empathy and ambition. Insiders say Victor has been quietly watching Noah's recovery since his accident. He's impressed by his resilience and his refusal to please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Give up. To Victor, that kind of strength is more valuable than ruthless ambition. In fact, it reminds him of himself in his younger days, before decades of betrayal hardened his heart. However, Victor's newfound faith in Noah might not sit well with everyone. Victoria, in particular, would be furious to learn her father is even considering elevating her nephew into the family business. For years, she's fought tooth and nail to prove herself as Victor's rightful heir. The idea of a younger Newman, especially one with no boardroom experience, stepping into the spotlight would feel like a betrayal. Adam, too, would see it as another rejection. Despite Victor's attempts to reconcile with him, Adam's trust in his father remains fragile. Hearing that Noah is suddenly the chosen one could send him spiraling once again, reigniting old resentments and pushing him back toward darker impulses. Even Nick might be torn. On one hand, he'd be proud of his son for stepping up. On the other, he'd worry about what aligning with Victor could do to Noah's soul. Nick has spent years trying to protect his children from Victor's manipulative tendencies, and he knows firsthand how easy it is to get caught in the web of Newman power games. But Noah's perspective is different. He's always respected his grandfather, even if he hasn't agreed with his methods. He understands the burden of the Newman name, and the weight of its expectations. Deep down, he may feel that helping Victor could be a way to honor his family while forging his own legacy. Still, the question remains, can Noah really save Victor, or will Victor's influence destroy him like it has so many others? To understand what's at stake, fans must look at Victor's current predicament. Sources close to Newman Enterprises hint at a looming scandal, possibly involving financial mismanagement, corporate espionage, or even a cover-up that could land the company in serious legal trouble. Victor, as always, wants to handle things his way, quietly and decisively. But he knows his usual tactics won't work this time. Too many bridges have been burned, too many enemies made. That's where Noah comes in. Unlike the rest of the Newmans, Noah isn't burdened by grudges or vendettas. He's seen as a neutral figure, someone who could step in, rebuild trust, and present a new face for the company's future. In Victor's eyes, Noah may be the only one left who can restore honor to the Newman name. But there's a deeper emotional layer to this story. For all his power and pride, Victor Newman is a man haunted by loneliness. His empire may be vast, but it's also cold, built on decades of manipulation and revenge. Now, as his children drift away, Victor finds himself craving something he's rarely allowed himself to feel: connection. Noah represents that chance, a bridge to the next generation, a reminder that legacy is more than just business success. It's about family. Yet if Noah accepts this role, he'll be walking into dangerous territory. The world of Newman Enterprises is not for the faint of heart. Every alliance is temporary, every promise conditional. Victor may see Noah as his only hope now, but the moment he feels challenged or betrayed, that hope could turn to hostility. And Noah, unlike his father or grandfather, may not be equipped to handle the ruthless world Victor built. Some in Genoa City fear that Victor's interest in Noah isn't entirely selfless. They suspect he may be using his grandson as a pawn to repair his image or manipulate the rest of the family into submission. After all, no one knows better than Victor how to use love and loyalty as weapons. Still, there's something undeniably poignant about this late-in-life connection. It hints at the possibility of redemption, for both men. Victor, the aging patriarch finally recognizing the damage his ambition has caused, and Noah, the idealistic artist finally stepping into his family's legacy with purpose. Their bond, fragile as it is, could reshape the Newman dynasty forever. But make no mistake, if Noah does become Victor's confidant or protege, he'll have to navigate treacherous waters. Victoria and Adam are unlikely to sit quietly while their nephew rises through the ranks. Corporate warfare could once again tear the Newman family apart, this time with Noah caught in the crossfire. Even outside forces like Jack Abbott or Tucker McCall could exploit the situation, knowing how much Newman chaos benefits their own agendas. For now, though, one thing is clear: Victor Newman is a man running out of allies. His empire, his family, and even his legacy are hanging in the balance. And in this fragile moment, the one person who might hold the power to save him is the grandson he once overlooked. Noah Newman may not have asked for this role, but destiny seems to have. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Chosen him. The only question is whether he can rise to the occasion, or whether stepping into Victor's world will cost him everything he holds dear. Either way, the future of Newman Enterprises, and perhaps even Victor himself, may rest in Noah's hands.